right, everybody. This is the Boolin with the Boys podcast. It's the boys here. I'm Deacon. We got Hunter, Jake. This is their first podcast, so you're gonna have to deal with them. They're a little got a little stage fright going on. But you know what? We're doing this. We're gonna have a good time.
You said Boolin with the boys. It's Boolin.
Well, you know what? They get the picture. Let's hope they get the picture. We're gonna have a good time. All right, gentlemen. What are we going to talk about today?
You tell me.
Aye, Captain.
Well, let's start off with a little toast for Boolin. For Boolin with the boys. First podcast, guys. Good to have you down here. Good to be podcasting. Oh. This is Red Stag, Black Cherry, little... What do you say that was? Hunter?
Saying, what?
Yeah, Red Stag, Black Cherry. What are we mixing it with though? What would you call it?
Red Stag and Zero Coke.
Coke Zero?
Yeah.
What were we calling it? Cero? Coke Zero?
Zero?
Yeah.
No, it's Woke Zero.
Yeah, Woke Zero. Yeah. All right, guys. So we're gonna give you a little introduction here. We're gonna do a little Cholo Springs reunion tour 2021.
You did the same
What are
thing.
you, fucking Bruce Lee over here?
Listen,
Hunter over here just reached for something out of the air. I think the Red Stag is hitting him a little hard.
Fur ball.
Yeah. So we got like I said, the reunion at Cholo Springs 2020, the reunion tour. So let's tell you a little bit about ourselves a little bit here, and how do we meet? Hunter, how did we meet? Just by chance, by
misfortune of
yeah. Just strolled along one day and ran into each other.
A stork dropped me off and said, good luck.
And then Jake, we met through a little high school sports, football action.
Football.
With our coach.
With the frogman himself.
Ribbit. Looking like a toe with that nose.
Gosh,
So,
Jabba the Hutt looking ass.
so I mean, as you might tell, there were some opinions about our old high school days, but you know what?
Fuck that guy.
E.T. phone home. Just.
Sorry, Hunter. Why don't you start off and just tell us a little bit about yourself? What are things you enjoy doing other than being on this podcast and drinking Red Stag, Black Cherry, and Woke Zero?
I'm a man of simple pleasures. I like the gym, memes. Play guitar every once in a while. Learning it actually, so I don't actually play it yet, but I'm learning. And just fitness, memes, music. I act at a haunted house, so I do a little acting on the side, and that's it.
So Hunter is our meme specialist. We might have meme reviews in the future, and Hunter will be our guy that'll bring us the dankest of dank memes.
Yep, that I will.
And he also knows a little bit about fitness, as he said, so he'll be our fitness consultant too. How about you, Jake? What? Tell the good people what they want to know about Jake.
Damn.
Yeah.
It's like a lot of pressure.
A little bit.
Well,
Not really much of a... I don't really do much. I just get fat, drunk, and losing hair.
But you do a little bit of martial arts and a little bit of lifting. So
yeah, I've been doing jiu-jitsu for like 7 years and got into lifting for about 4 years now. Max bench is 600.
Big man on campus. Big man.
Max bench 225.
But a little bit of hunting too. Do a little hunting on the side every now and then.
It's been a while since that's happened. Got kicked off my uncle's farm.
Oh.
Beat the shit out of my cousin. That didn't go over too well.
So we got Hunter and Jake here. They're both kind of our, they know their fitness, do a little weightlifting. Jake, he's our martial artist guy. Judo chop someone if we need be. And then you got me. I'm Deacon. I'm the recorder of this podcast. We're recording this podcast in an underground bunker somewhere in the middle of Nebraska. We're having a good time. I'm in a little bit of an apprenticeship as an electrician right now, so I'd like to think I know a little bit about that, when in all reality I know nothing about it. But, I make it look like I do, so it works out. I like cars. I like anything car related, whether it be racing, whether it be car shows, all that stuff. These guys know it well. I was given a hard time at someone's wedding here for liking my cars a little too much. My car, I should say.
You did do that.
Yeah, Jake, your little roast at the beginning of your wedding there.
Oh yeah. I remember. I was like wondering where you were getting that from. Like, did anybody get you like a hard time?
No, it wasn't that bad. I
was like, oh shit.
It wasn't that bad, but no, so I know a little bit.
It was pretty lighthearted. I didn't get too hard on you guys.
It was good. It was a nice.
I kind of wish
it was a toasting.
Just roast me outright.
Did you way to roast you real bad?
Yeah,
I could have got out. I could have brought the claws out.
This guy
coming in at 5'2", little man. Think you can bench 315.
Yeah, so I my hobbies are cars, and like I said, I like to do a little lifting too on the side. Not as serious as these two gentlemen in front of me, but do a little bit, and
maybe eventually
like a little bit of football in the fall, and so. This is who you got. This is the Boolin with the Boys podcast, and this is our crew here. So,
and there ain't no takebacks.
Yeah, there ain't no takebacks. This is what it is.
No takey backsies.
And we're sitting here enjoying some delicious Mangia's Italiana from Irvington, Nebraska, which it doesn't get much better than that. What you looking funny like that over there for? You act like I said something wrong. Like
Irvington.
Yeah, it's Irvington. That's where they're at.
Is it Irvington?
Yeah.
That was Omaha.
No, I mean it's technically it would be in Omaha, but it's in Irvington. Is where
Irvington's a town.
Yes,
Yeah.
Irvington is a town.
I thought it was all Omaha.
Don't offend the good people of Irvington if they listen to this podcast.
It's like a small bit of Omaha,
Yeah,
but it's
it's
a town.
But that's like Elkhorn is now part of Omaha.
Yeah, but
I mean, Elkhorn's still Elkhorn.
Yeah, but Elkhorn is still Elkhorn. Yeah, like Jake said.
I mean, yeah, Omaha's took over a lot of Elkhorn.
So is Millard, but it's still Omaha.
I mean, yeah, it still is Millard.
Just a bunch of
But
fuckboys.
it's Omaha.
But it's Millard. It still is Millard. Like, yeah, it's within.
But if I pulled up
it's
Google
the
Maps,
greater-
it would say Omaha.
It's like the greater Omaha area. So, like, Elkhorn is part of the greater Omaha area. Millard is part of the greater Omaha area.
It is what it is.
Carter Lake
Well, yeah, I get it.
is not part.
I'm not going to try to make an argument on this.
But the pizza's good. That's what we're getting.
Oh, yeah,
at.
I mean,
The
the
pizza, a little
It's
bit.
decent. Pizza Hut's better.
Oh, jeez. Oh, no. Now we got Hunter over here offending the people of Irvington, and Jake's going to just ban us from Mangia's for life now. He's going to be like, we get that one person from Mangia's is going to listen and be like, screw those guys. No orders for them.
We're not sponsored by Mangia's, okay?
Nor Red Stag, nor Coca-Cola.
No. But if they want to sponsor us, we'd be okay with that.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll have Red Stag every time here at the podcast.
Mangia's.
And Mangia's. Oh, yeah. Yeah, be living the high life. So, Jake and Hunter were having a conversation earlier that I think I want to go back and touch on as far as commercial gyms versus non-commercial gyms. And we're just gonna touch on that a little bit for our.
How about you talk about it, because you were more part of a commercial gym than I am.
Yeah, but I've also been more part of a non-commercial gym too.
True. I've never been part of a non-commercial gym yet.
So let's touch on that. Like, what's as far as all of our experience, because we've all worked out at a commercial gym. I haven't worked at a private gym. Is that what you'd call it?
I mean, the closest you've probably been to is the high school locker or gym.
Yeah, I mean,
Locker.
not a locker room.
I'm 30 and I'm in a
Yeah,
high school locker.
yeah, in the locker room, boys.
High school boys.
Living the glory days.
My man amongst boys. Yeah.
But
You see these hair on my testicle.
I like to beat them up for their lunch money. Give me double tendies.
Oh my God. Give me those chicken tendies, make it times 2. I want double the milk too. You gotta get that calcium to beat up more boys.
Mama said it makes my bones healthy.
Oh no.
So commercial gyms versus private gyms. Like I said, all I've known is commercial gyms. So, and I know the cons of that. I think we all know the cons of that. I mean, we'll touch on it for the good people listening, but let's just one of the big cons, like right from the get-go, that I think we can all agree on, people slamming weights, right?
It's not just weights that people slam; it's the lightweight that people slam.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's not really the slamming that's the issue. It's the people doing the slamming.
No, I had
And why they're slamming. If you're slamming for a reason, then I have no issue with you. But if you're slamming just because
you want to slam.
you a little soy boy or lady, then yeah, get the heck out of here.
I had one guy who was doing like chest press. What was it called? Incline chest press. Sorry,
Yeah.
there it is. He was doing it, and he would go up and down, and then he will stop at his shoulders, and then just throw the weight of it down. And the dumbbells went flying. Almost hit somebody. I'm like, dude, seriously? Just put it down softly.
Oh, yeah.
There's no need for that. Now, if you're doing deadlifts and you are, you get it to maybe mid-thigh, and you lose your grip, and you slam it, that's fine.
But you lost your grip.
Yeah, you lost your grip. But, I mean...
So that's not even intentional. You're just,
No.
you literally, you're not going to catch it with your feet.
I mean, you could.
I mean,
catch it with your dick if you want to.
You got that big dick energy. You can do it all.
depending on how much weight you're doing, you might go from a he to a she.
Yeah.
Guarantee it.
Well, it's that famous quote I told you earlier.
Yeah, yeah.
If you ain't pulling 315 on deadlifts, the only thing I should be hearing is the sound of your queef when you're pulling.
Oh, jeez.
But I've been trying hook grip on my deadlift.
Hook.
I love hook grip.
Yeah.
I have to tape my thumbs, but
Tape your thumbs.
yeah, I got like a athletic tape to tape my thumbs because
Oh, I see. Yeah, you're doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it is a little rough on the thumb. Yeah.
it's a little rough on the thumbs. But I've been doing hook grip lately. It's solid.
No, hook grip is way better than over under.
I'm like, holy crap!
Over under.
It changed
And one
my mind.
also over under. You're risking some rotation, so then
You're also risking the bicep.
Oh yeah, you're
to
risking
rupture.
bicep rotation. You're just putting yourself at an overall just disadvantage.
Yeah, the only reason I'm doing hook grip now because I saw a video on Instagram where this dude was deadlifting over under,
And he
and
just
he
snaps.
saw his bicep coil
Mm.
underneath his skin.
Oh, yeah.
You saw that thing just rise. I'm like,
Yep.
I'm gonna go hook grip.
Yeah.
I rather take out a thumb, take out a nail, or dislocate my thumb,
Yeah, yeah.
rather than get a whole bicep to coil underneath.
Oh yeah,
here.
yeah.
Screw that.
No, yeah, but can't teach stupid.
I mean, you can fix it.
For some.
Yeah,
Some.
Some people.
Some, not
Or
all,
you'll drown
unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, you can lead a horse to water, but you can also drown the water or drown the horse too.
You can drown the water.
Yeah, you can drown,
drown the water.
Yeah, you
So
drown
I'll
the
teach.
water.
I'll teach you water.
I'll teach you something, going you. I mean, keeping it PG, PG.
Bro, you never keep a PG. Never in your whole
I
life.
do it every once in a while.
Once.
Bet.
So, dropping weights when you don't need to drop weights. Be first gripe.
Yeah.
Commercial gym. What's some other gripes?
Enrollment fees.
Yeah, dude.
If I had to be honest, why do I have to pay? Because I chose.
This gym over
This
something
gym.
else.
But at the same time, I can understand it. I mean, at the same time, it's like it's your business, so you do whatever you want. I'm not going to tell you how to run it. And I mean, that's why the little gyms can get away with it because they don't have as many people, and there's not like 50 locations. So if
Yeah.
something breaks there, they're not like, oh crap, I gotta drive down to Kansas City or do something stupid like that. They can just have it ordered.
I do have to say, the gym that I'm at, I mean, it's a commercial gym, but at least I haven't got yelled at yet for deadlifting.
Oh, you're not gonna.
Yeah, and
I
that's
mean,
what I like
you're
about
not
it. 'Cause
at
there are
Planet
some
Fitness.
commercial gyms.
I'll
I mean,
just
not
call
even
them
Planet
out.
Fitness,
No,
but I mean, there are
no,
some
no,
commercial
no,
gyms
screw Planet Fitness.
where you deadlift and like there's Karens out in the
No, no,
gym,
no.
and it's just like,
I saw this video at Planet Fitness of this dude deadlifting. This guy literally comes up as the guy's like past his knee, almost mid-thigh, and he kicks the bar down.
oh, that's not Planet Fitness. That was in Canada.
No, that was at Planet Fitness
Where
because
you were talking about the guy who was wearing the animal shirt.
I don't know what he was
Well,
wearing.
he comes from like the
Because like in the video, you see like a little corner.
Yeah, and there was a cage, like a fence cage.
No,
No.
not that I know of.
Well, see, the one I'm thinking of is the guy was deadlifting, and he.
'Cause then, like,
it wasn't even an employee; it was just another
It was
member.
just another dude.
He walks over and he kicks him
Kicks
in
him
the nuts.
down.
And, well, he kicks the bar down, and he told him to get out.
Yeah, and then he pushes them.
Then he pushes him. He's like, dude, I gotta get my camera.
Yeah.
That's not Planet Fitness. That was in Canada. So it's like Planet Fitness for Canada. So it's not Planet Fitness, but it's more of like, yeah. So that was in Canada. The guy, his name is Charles. You can look him up.
I know he got banned for life, and then
Well,
the
then-
guy who got that happened, him and his family got memberships for life.
Yeah, at a local gym that actually
Yeah.
accepted powerlifting. The guy he even had mats on the ground. He was trying to be courteous as
Oh,
possible.
like he didn't even he was just picking it up, so it wasn't even like he slammed it yet. He was just literally on the way up, and then the guy comes because that could risk hurting your lower back. That could risk tearing a bicep, all sorts of fun stuff.
I mean, he wasn't even slamming it too. It wasn't like dropping it from his mid thigh. He
Yeah.
was like, I mean, obviously, if you try to, you can drop the weight to
But
start.
I mean, even if it wasn't Planet Fitness, there's still been freaking all sorts of shenanery at Planet Fitness. People getting told they can't lift because they brought in a gallon container.
Really?
Because it doesn't fit in their cup holders. And yeah, it's like, why should I be punished if I don't want to fill up my cup?
Isn't that
every-
healthy? Like, isn't drinking a gallon of water healthy though? Like,
No, it is.
I mean, people should transition to drinking. I drink at least, roughly near a gallon.
Yeah.
I mean, I drink about 96 ounces of water at work, and then I drink about maybe another 30 or 40 ounces when I get home. So,
And if you have a bush latte, that's another 12 ounces.
and then I have Gatorade too. I mean, it's not like a healthy alternative.
Our tech specialist is fucking. I don't know what the hell are you doing?
I'm doing a little adjusting here. We're getting a little bit of background noise.
I hear.
We're getting a little bit of background noise here, so bear with us here. A little technical difficulties.
Maybe that just adds to the the feeling.
The bunker feel.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Well, now I can barely even hear myself.
How about now?
Still barely.
Just still barely.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to cut out all the background noise that I can hear. I know we're still recording, and we're still picking up on the mic, even though it can't be heard. We might just have to power through this here.
I mean, it doesn't bother me.
I
Oh,
don't really care.
let's just keep rolling, boys.
I mean, what are they gonna say? Oh my gosh, that background noise. What the 5 people who see this are gonna?
Yeah,
be
well, I mean, you
triggered?
never know. You might get the 2 Karens that'll be like, I tried to enjoy this podcast, but your background noise just absolutely ruined it for me.
Yeah, I'm
Well,
sure they are.
I mean, everybody's first episode's always awkward.
Oh yeah, it's it's like.
Because you're not comfortable. I mean,
I mean, I'm comfy. I had some pizza. Had some,
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty comfy
some
over here.
alky. I'm chill.
So, dropping weights when not need be. And then, what was that? Fees, pretty much?
The enhancement fee, yeah. But at the same time, I can see, I mean, again, if I were to open up a gym, there wouldn't be enhancement fees.
no, because it's not necessary. I mean,
No.
I think that you can keep customers by not having that.
But
sign-up
I
fee.
wouldn't go for a big chain either. I'd go for one location. And if anything, if I expanded, it'd be maybe 2 or 3 more.
So
Because let's say I had one here in Midwest, then I'd have maybe one maybe down south, and then one not out west now.
So you're thinking of
Arizona maybe is the furthest west I'd go. I wouldn't go to California.
See, I'm more like quality over quantity. I think if you focus on one gym, you're not going to make as much money as somebody who has focused on 3 or 4 gyms, but the quality of the care that you have within that one gym.
No, but that's what I'd do is I wouldn't just expand right away. I'd make sure it's it's solid. It's no matter what happens, I know this one location is my anchor. And then if they're if I get people who let's say I make videos on that gym and people from other places are yo, I wish we had that. I'm okay. And if it's in the finances, then you make it happen.
See, I think I would love to have a garage gym, not not a home garage. I mean, obviously, I would love to have a home garage gym, but like an industrial garage gym where you have the big giant doors you can open up, have strongman out in the parking lot,
Big
back
iron.
alley. Yeah,
Big iron.
that'd be nice. And then you get the sleds, you can get the
Oh, yeah.
what's the strongman bar? forget what it's called, but it has like the weights on the bottom.
Mhm.
A yoke bar.
Yeah.
It's a nice little yoke.
No, but that's the nice thing. Like big iron, like I was telling you about. Like the back of it is literally like just a huge parking lot. Like like you have so much room to either like push a sled, flip tires, do whatever.
That'd be so fun.
And it's only $45 a month.
Do they have like a simulated tire pull, like a simulated truck pull kind of thing? Because I know you can get those.
I'm pretty sure I could just get a harness, get some chain, and then put my truck in neutral and have you pull it.
Get some strongman relays. That'd be fun.
Yeah. Or get Deacon's little truck out there.
Get some apples.
That truck is a shit box. That truck, you'd pull on it and you'd pull the bumper off and probably take the whole bed off with it too.
There goes the axle.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, no, like for what you're getting, and then it's all family out there too, so it's not like, you have just like Randy's who come in and they're just like sketchy. Like everyone out there is pretty chill.
I mean, if you open up a gym and you have just, good equipment, I'll come in.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
The one thing I don't like about commercial gyms is that the limited number of squat racks.
mm-hmm.
Like that's my biggest pet peeve, because if 4 people are on the squat rack, I gotta sit there and wait and just fester my anger watching people core squat in the squat rack, and they are only like core squatting like 145 pounds.
Yeah.
Like just stop.
See, that's what bothered me about being at Genesis when I was there. Was they only had, at the location I was at, there were only 2 squat racks, and
went to the one
I mean, yeah, and I mean, or in the one, and it was in the one that
Exarban.
in Exarban, and
two too, don't they?
and and that was just, I mean, it's core lifts that you want to do because for obvious reasons, but you can't because you have one person who's holding it down, and they're not even maximizing their time on it. They're sitting there, they do their lift, and they're on their phone, and they get off their phone, and then they think about lifting, they stretch, then they finally do their lift, and they're back on their phone again to talk to their Instagram followers or their people. It's like, just get in there, lift, and get out. Especially when and everyone else in the gym knows that equipment is limited. It's just frustrating. It just takes away the motivation to want to do those lifts, and that's why for the longest time I didn't do squat when I was going there, because it was like I don't want to wait for this equipment. It gets into the flow of your workout, and when you interrupt the flow of your workout, I mean, all 3 of us know you have like a flow when you're working out, and when that gets interrupted, it derails the whole workout, and it's a distraction, and it's no bueno. It's no bueno.
And you have to rest between sets, but I mean, there's a difference between like resting and looking on Snapchat, Instagram, and like sitting there visualizing your next set. Like when I rest between sets, I take about 2-3 minutes between my sets, because obviously, you're doing a lot of exertion.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not sitting there on my phone. I might be like trying to change music if I don't like the song that's playing, or like I visualize my next set. I'm thinking about it, and then I go do it. So even though I'm not doing set after set after set, I'm still like focusing on the gym. I mean, people just need to get away from their phones. I think that's like the biggest time waster most people have. I mean, that's the issue.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see, what else? Any other cons about commercial gyms? So we've touched on people being loud with the weights. We've touched on the fees. We've talked about people hogging equipment.
Ego lifting.
Yeah, that too.
Like legit ego lifting, not like people being threatened because you're lifting more than them. Ego lifting.
I mean, yeah.
But like,
if you're pushing yourself, that's one thing. But if you can't even like do a full ROM, like a range of motion lift, you shouldn't be lifting it. If you only can do core squats
or correct range of motion, not just like full range, but if you're like doing a curl with 40 pounds, but you're like moving your whole body, and you're also letting that elbow sneak out, or you're bringing it back, or you're doing something stupid, I don't care. You could do 100 pounds like that, and I won't give you any respect.
The one thing that scares me though is people with ego lift deadlifts, and they're starting getting that cat back, and when their back starts to round, and I'm just
my back hurts.
I'm looking at you, and my back hurts. I mean, your lower back can get fried from a normal lifted deadlift, but it shouldn't be hurting. And I've seen so many kids who are like maybe like $115 trying to pull 315 pounds, and their back rounds, and and like they get up and like, oh man, like they start touching the lower back. I'm going
Yeah, it just hurts to watch.
And you don't. And the problem is, I'm the type of person, like if I see you do it, I'm not going to correct you, because I'm not going to be that guy. You don't want to ever be that guy where you correct somebody when they don't have that, initial conversation with you, like, hey, am I doing it right?
Well, no, I've corrected people before and they go back to their ways.
I know, and I mean, you don't want to be that guy, especially when I'm not even a person who's like a trainer or anything like that. But like, you're just the only reason I've ever correct somebody if they're seriously about to hurt themselves. Like, if I see it and you're like your spine's about to come out your butt.
At one point, I would agree with you, but I've become cold and harsh in my ways, and I'll just say, you know what, I'll find a good chiropractor and Godspeed.
I mean, a little spine flexion is not going to hurt you, but when you literally look like a scared cat, that's a different story.
I've lost all sympathy for that kind
Hunter
of
has become a very cold-hearted person in his time on planet Earth in the last few years.
And I've like had experiences with you in the past. I just put the headphones in and say, okay, you do you.
Apparently, the one on West Center in Genesis West Center actually has 6.
Oh yeah, no. There's actually the newest one that you have to spend an extra $10 on.
West Roads.
That one is that has 6 actual racks.
And that's sad that
it's got
like
turf
6
in it.
squat racks is just phenomenal when you can.
And I guess even then it's still always like full. Like,
Really?
it's always like.
If West Center was 24 hours, I would love to go to it. I just don't like lifting right after work. I kind of like want to eat my dinner.
No, I can never eat before I lift.
I always eat before I lift.
See, that's one thing too. Like I'm kind of particular about that. Like sometimes I'll get home from work and I'll be like, all right, I need to eat something because if I go on an empty stomach, I just feel like it's counterproductive to my motivation to want to go work out. Not saying it's counterproductive to what the benefits or cons to it would be, but it's more of I get there and all I can think about instead of focusing on lifting is I'm hungry. And so I've kind of gotten into the trend of I've got some protein bars here at home. I'll get home, I'll just smash one of them real quick, or I'll throw a little bit of peanut butter on a slice of bread, and then boom, I'm heading off to the gym. But that's just me. I mean, I have right, wrong, indifferent. That's just what I do.
That's how I do
Hunter's
it.
over here shaking his head like you crazy boy, you crazy. What are you thinking, Hunter?
I just like if I go home, I'm done. I'm staying home. Like if I go home, I ain't leaving the home unless it's like afternoon or like 4 o'clock. Then I'll probably leave. But if I go home at like 7, 6, I ain't leaving again.
Yeah. So that's how I do with jiu-jitsu. I don't like to eat before I go to jiu-jitsu because, I mean, there's a difference between lifting weights and having a guy's knee on your stomach.
Yeah.
Like, that's a whole different type of pressure.
That's another form of defense.
I know. And if you're eating a bunch of food and you put a knee on your stomach, man, it's just coming out. And I've caused a lot of people to fart because I get so much pressure. Like, I do knee on, I love knee on belly, and there's so many people, like, they start tooting. I'm like, come on, man. Stop farting.
That's their defense, man.
I know. Well, this one guy, literally, so I was transitioning, and his ass was in my face, and he farted. I was like, oh my god, dude.
Hit you with that skunk action.
I'm like, did you just fart? And he's like, yeah.
He said hidden skunk.
Hidden skunk technique number 72.
Into that Naruto.
Wait, so as a trainer, I gotta ask you.
Yeah.
I like RX bars. Are those legit?
RX bars. Like those, like the...
It's basically...
MedRx?
The MetaRx?
No, it's just...
No, just RX?
No, it's just RX bars.
Oh, okay.
So it's like the ones where it's 6 egg whites, 14...
Oh, those ones that are like, they
BS.
say like... I don't know, just because I'm like...
I
Whatever. I mean, it's like if what their ingredients are saying is like what's in there, then...
I mean, that's literally legit. They say 6 egg whites, 14
Yeah, I mean, if they
2 dates.
I mean, I don't
6
like
almonds,
those
no
honestly,
BS.
but like if you like them, then I'm not...
I mean, I went from Quest bars, and I just feel like Quest bars have so much calories in it. Or not calories, but
sugar.
chemicals and crap in it. That's
See,
15 grams of fiber, man. I was like...
See, I used to be on that Quest bar. Like, that's what I used to be
15
on.
grams of fiber.
I mean, see, I don't pay attention. I'm not savvy to that like you guys are. You guys are far more savvy on that. Me, I'm like, does it have protein in it? Yes. Does it have low sugar in it? Yes.
No, man.
Okay, let me eat that. Like,
that fiber gets to you, though. Like, you are literally passing like crazy, and you're farting all the time, and it feels so bad for people now.
But like, I've kind of gravitated away from Quest bars, and no, I mean, I'll do like there's right now I'm doing the cheap fix, which is there's these Equate bars at Walmart. Yeah, living that Walmart life there, and those I mean, those are like not too bad depending on the flavor. And then they do have some Atkins stuff. It's more like a treat bar. It's not for like protein. It's more of just like a snack through the day. So it's not really, I mean, as far as what we're talking about, it doesn't really apply. But other than like what you feel your body through the day. So in some ways, I suppose it does apply. But I've been like if I'm gonna have like a legit protein bar, I've been kind of sticking to those Fit Crunch bars is what I like. If I'm gonna have like a legit protein bar, I just like that cookie dough, and that peanut butter. Oh man, makes a boy hungry.
I like it. I mean, it's a good fix when you're hungry and you're like middle between breakfast or lunch. Like, it's a good fix to have.
Or you just I'll just take a slice of whole wheat bread and slab some peanut butter on that boy.
I can't have peanut butter.
Oh, see, I love me some. I can't. Jake just flipped me off. What an asshole. I can't live without peanut butter. Like, that's my one crutch. If society collapsed tomorrow, I gotta have peanut butter. Like that's
So
just.
you're like allergic to peanuts?
No, I can. My wife can.
Oh.
She's deathly allergic to peanuts.
Yeah, so you're like...
if she...
Well, so you just sneak down here and get you the peanut butter fix then.
No, have you ever had homemade peanut butter?
I don't think I have actually.
You take some, so you get some peanuts, you skin on or skin off, you roast them at 350 for maybe like 15-20 minutes, get a nice dark roast on them, put them in a blender, let them keep on blending, and it'll release that natural oil. You got nice, good, smooth peanut butter. It is really good. Put some little salt in it.
It's a spot.
Natural peanut, like a homemade natural peanut butter is just...
No, I got peanut butter that like the oil will separate from the butter eventually.
But you got it from the actual
No,
jar.
I got it
I'm
from
talking about
Costco.
you get...
Well, I know. You go out,
Actual
you go
peanuts
hunt out,
from
and you go collect some peanuts. And
It's really good.
Go out to the great peanut fields and pluck
Pick
them
them
one by
yourself.
one.
Make them yourself, deshell them.
are they
Skin 'em.
boneless? Boneless peanuts.
All in peanuts.
Can you blend them with the shell?
I wouldn't, but you can if you want to. A little grainy.
You get your fiber.
Yeah.
So, is there anything else about commercial gyms we want to talk on? I mean,
There's so much.
I'm sure we could be here for a while. But like, as far as to summing them up, I mean, like, is there anything else that like comes to your guys' minds as far as like cons that you just cannot stand about commercial gyms? I mean, Hunter's getting the list out over there.
Like we said, we could be here for 5 episodes.
Okay, well,
and not longer.
Is there any pros in your guys' opinion to commercial gyms?
The access. You have a lot of access depending on what commercial you're going through.
Yeah, I like the
So-
24-hour access. Like, if I'm having an issue where it's like I can't get to it, and the only time I can get to it is at 10 o'clock at night, I have that all-night access where I can get done at like 12:30. I mean, there's only certain gyms are like that.
Well,
I mean,
yeah.
that 24-hour access
But then,
is so nice.
not just time access, but like location access. So
True.
no matter where you're at in town, there should
There's
be one
one
by
right across the corner.
just
from
like McDonald's and all that baloney.
it. Yeah.
So, like, since we're doing this podcast and we're reaching out to the good people in the area and maybe even further, if there are people, because, like, this is the time of the year that everyone's like, New Year's resolutions. I'm going to the gym. I'm getting in
That's
shape.
already done, though.
You know, I mean, for some people, yeah, it probably already is because
It's
we're getting into
started with
March
that.
and they probably ended that like 2 weeks after New Year's. But for the people that are thinking about getting into the gym or thinking about joining a gym, what are things that you guys would tell people to look out for as far as before they make their decision which way they go and what they do?
I say look at the people in the gym. I mean,
Well, I'd say, most starters, I wouldn't point them to any outside commercial gyms yet because
it's a different
they
mentality.
will not.
Survive.
They'll fall out. So commercial gyms should be where you go.
I mean, yeah,
So you're talking about like more like the private, like specialized gyms, not
like,
so much.
Like Big Iron, Omaha Barbell. Omaha Barbell, I could see beginners going there, and and it's not nothing against barbell to Big Iron. It's just literally when I walked into Big Iron, it was just not grimy in a gross way, but it was like down and dirty, old school.
like West Side Barbell
Like-
from Ohio.
It's like old school, like what you
Yeah.
saw off of like Arnold films, like back when he was working out in those gyms where it was just like
Where you can,
no
get, like,
AC.
you can get tetanitis from a...
Yeah, but it was like this is where you got stuff done. Whereas like Omaha Barbell, when I started there, was hole in the wall grind,
And it still has those people there, but now it is like more commercialized for CrossFit and whatever else.
I would agree. I mean, I think, if you're a beginner, commercial gyms are the best place to go because you have people who are similar to you. I mean, there's nobody who, there's going to be people who are more advanced than you, there's going to be people who are probably more beginner than you. But you fall within that range. So if you're a brand new person, you go, but if you're more into,
if you're intermediate?
Yeah, if you're intermediate to advanced, like, you should not be, like,
you
still can. You can still get your same gains as you would at a local barbell place or a powerlifting place, but if you're not surrounded, I feel my mentality is if you're not surrounding yourself by strong people, you're not going to get strong. You can still get strong, but you're not going to have that acceleration that you would have at a local barbell place.
Yeah, and also it's just, you gotta want it too. Like, you can't just be like,
you gotta be hungry.
Yeah, you gotta want it. You gotta pace yourself. You can't think it's all gonna come in 2 months, 3 months, 4 months.
You get the newbie gains.
The gains will come fast, but you gotta brace yourself for when you hit that.
A beginner a tampon and they can gain 12 pounds of muscle.
Yeah. Well, not muscle. They just lose fat, and the muscle's harder to gain.
You got the whole point.
Yeah.
I'm not being real.
Well, I'm just being.
I'm not being real here.
What if someone took you literal and was like, "I can go grab a tampon"?
Well, they could
gain that much.
and
then they just wasted money, and
that's
they're
a
not
Darwin
gaining
award
muscle.
right there because they're that stupid.
Well, hey, we gotta reach out to the masses.
We would hope that the good people listening to this podcast are not going to be that dumb, but you never know. Like, if you're that person, then we apologize, but we have faith in you, yeah.
The drive-in today proved otherwise. I could believe some of these people drive in would buy a tampon and think they'd get something out of it.
Well, you might get something out of it, but it ain't going to be what you're...
But just don't go to Planet Fitness. If Planet Fitness is listening to this, go suck toes.
Yeah. And let's dive into that there.
Well, Planet Fitness, no.
Yeah, what's your reasoning? Like, you can't make a statement like that and then just not have any backup to it or any.
The backup is you feed people pizzas and pies and bullshit, and then you expect them to get results, and you feed them these lies of
to a person who's powerlifting. That's a nice day
you just feed them, and then you have a lunk alarm. So you say you don't judge, but then you judge people who actually are lifting and getting shit done. Don't talk to me that you don't judge people.
So, that is my beef with them too, though. Like, you can't sit there and say, oh, we have this lunk alarm, we have no judging, but yet if someone goes in there and it's a legit lifter and they're actually lifting weight, you're not being obnoxious, you're just going in there, you're lifting heavy weights, and then people get offended by that or people get intimidated by that, then you are asked to leave. Because I don't watch a whole bunch of stuff, but I remember a year or two back I watched a video of a couple power lifters going in there just lifting. I think it was Brian Shaw and someone else, and they just went there to go just to lift. And they end up getting asked to leave because they were just the guy. Brian Shaw is just a monster. The dude can lift. There's no machine in that gym that guy
could lift the machine.
Yeah, he could probably lift the machine. And when you ask someone like that to leave, you are judging them in that regard, and that's my issue with it. And
he should. Brian Shaw. If you ever, in his videos, he's the nicest guy you've ever met.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's super nice, dude.
Legit, legit nice.
Yeah, but
that's good. He was kicking Mickey Mouse in the face. You just don't do certain things.
I'd kick Mickey Mouse.
You kick.
I'd kick Mickey Mouse in a heartbeat.
But no. So I think that's the kind of the consensus on that. I agree with you, bro.
Judging, listen, you can judge all you want. I don't care. Whatever, judge away. Have fun. I just care about misleading people who are so naive because they're so new to the game that they're going to get results, and you're just feeding them lies, and you just keep a rotation going of feeding them pizza, telling them come back in, get a workout in, feed them more pizza or whatever else they're feeding them, come back in, and then they tell them, oh, it's okay, you're fine as you are, just keep working out, you're going to get the changes, and they never get the changes because they're never actually applying anything to get change. So you're just feeding lies and getting baloney out of it. It's like if I pissed in a cup and gave you and said it was lemonade. I hope you wouldn't drink it.
What about you, Jake? What's your take on all this?
On Planet Fitness?
Yeah.
I don't have much gripe as you do.
But just like being in the fitness, like
I know.
I care about, like, even if I don't know you, I care about people's results. Like, if you really want results, I want you to get results.
If you want to people watch, go to Planet Fitness. For
Oh, no, that's
for
a great-
$10, that's pretty good entertainment.
I'll just go to YouTube and watch the compilations
Yeah, that's another thing.
and save $10.
Just people at commercial gyms, like you get a hodgepodge of people. I saw when I went to I went to on the gym I think Wednesday, and it was like two hefty girls. I'm not trying to be mean, but they were not
boned.
yeah. And they didn't even work out. They literally sat next to the Smith machine and cried.
Really?
I'm like, this is not
They
a
might have
therapy
lost a few
session.
weights. They might have lost a few
This
weights
isn't
from
a
those
therapy
years.
session. But that brings up a story.
No, but I did see someone just like back when it was like football season. Someone there was just standing on the treadmill watching the TV.
I would do that.
I was like, he must be trying to get away from his wife, or he doesn't have TV at his house. One of the two.
Hey, bro, when you're married, guess what? That doesn't sound half bad if that's your reason behind it. You just
Oh.
if you're watching this, honey, I love you. Or you're listening to this, I love you. But there's times where it's like, you know what? That wouldn't be too bad. And I'm sure she would say the same thing. So.
Hey, all I'm saying is,
Hey,
if
we
we
don't
go on
have
the
cable
treadmill,
sometimes.
at least walk.
I mean, that's true.
I mean, walk, even if it's at like at one speed.
Wait, do you have an arch nemesis at your gym? Like, is there somebody that you see and it just grinds your gears to the point where you just want to go over and choke them?
That'd be everybody. He walks in, he's like, F that guy, F that person.
I mean, that's that. I mean,
I
have
mean-
one, but
To answer this, yeah, I mean, I have more than one.
at least you only got more. I only
I
got
have
one.
more
but-
than I can count on both hands. I have a lot.
like truly your arch nemesis. You have
Truly,
more-
I would rather kick them out of a gym than let them in my gym.
Why?
I would
Like, give me
ego
some
lifting and just like thinking they know everything, doing just dumb stuff, slamming weights just to sound like they're doing heavy stuff, and as they walk around, like it's just like I just want to drink some bleach. I just want to just say, all right, I'll have a nice cup of bleach on the rocks.
Are they the type of guy where it's, if you're doing like incline chest, they say, well, if you just change
They're
your
the
elbow
kind of
to
guy
like a
who will be
45
doing
degree
flies
angle.
on the cable and slam the cables. Yeah.
That's pretty bad.
Yeah. Or they're the kind of guys who, because they have a physique that seems appealing to people, will then like use that to then lure in more sheeple and like try to train them underneath the nose of the establishment that they have signed a contract saying they won't train under.
Is that really in the contract?
You can't train someone if you pay for a.
Well, could you?
Now, if you're working out with someone, like
That's what I was gonna
let's say
ask.
if you're working out with like your wife, yeah, you can do that. But training is not legal under a lot of these contracts.
So what is the definition of training? So like,
If you,
if I'm with the like, let's just say I have a gym partner who's a new person,
Mhm.
and I'm helping them get like a better squat stance or
Yeah.
a better deadlift. Is that training, or
no,
is
no,
it
you're
like
just
if I'm-
helping them.
If I get paid to do it, that's training.
If we can prove you're getting paid, you're definitely getting
okay.
probably kicked. But let's say, all right, you train them that, but then I also come like I have someone I'm training someone, and then I come back around and I see you now helping them over here with something, and every time I see you with them at a new location, you're always helping them. It's a little sus, and it's frowned upon because you're pretty much just walking into the establishment and slapping whatever trainers are there and saying, I'm doing this for either free or for cheaper than you, and we're taking money out of your mouth.
I mean, I can see how that would be bad for the establishment.
Yeah.
I mean, if I have a gym partner who's new, obviously I'm going to help him.
Oh, yeah,
Like,
yeah. And
I'm not going to sit there and like baby him, but at the same time,
Yeah.
if he's like having a scat bag,
If you help them, like, and even if it's like just one time, but if it becomes like a habit, like you're always with them, and you're always training them, at least like once a week, that's where it's like, okay, something's up. And even if we can't prove it, trainers there will probably not like you because they know what you're doing.
or I mean, yeah, if you have multiple clients who are coming in, and you're
Yeah.
obviously having like one time you had a female,
Yeah.
and now you have a male,
Yeah.
like, that's obviously training.
Yeah, yeah,
But if it's just you and your boy doing
Yeah.
the entire
Or
time,
you-
that's different.
Yeah.
I get what you mean.
Yep.
So Jake, why don't you tell us a story about
Core squat?
your squat battle? that time where you were at the squat rack or you were preparing to do your squats, and then you had somebody.
Dude,
I'll let you take it from there.
Oh my god, dude, this guy was such an ass because he was like, I was warming up for squat, and I was like, I did my first plate, got that done, get my second
Well,
plate
it's
on.
not too, no. I just saw Deacon grabbing the Coke. I was like,
We're rotating the Woke Zero and the Red Stag here. Go on, proceed there.
And then I'm getting up to my working set, and obviously when you get to a working set, you got to take a break between. I mean, you cannot, you cannot efficiently lift that heavy weight and then just go right back into it. So I got done with my set, and I was like, man, I'm thirsty. So I went to, this is pre-COVID, obviously, and I went to the drinking fountain, got my drink, started walking back to my station, or I had my belt over the bar. I had my backpack at the power rack. I had my lifting shoes there. I had my Converse there. I was basically set up. I had my whole program. I mean, I was set up over there. And this guy starts taking off my weight. I'm like, you little ass. So I walk up and I was like, hey, what are you doing? He's like, oh, I thought you left. I was just taking your weight off because I thought you left. I'm like, my belt's still on the bar. My shoes are over there. My backpack's right there. My program's right there. Why do you think that I'm done? He's like, well, you weren't at the station. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? So then obviously I got up to his face. I'm like, get the hell out of my power rack. So he left. He went away. So then I get done with my next set. I went to go, check my program, see how many more sets I have left. I look up, and I didn't even get done. I didn't even get like 2 seconds away from the power rack. And he's like, already taking my weight off. He's like, oh, I thought you were done. I'm like, bro, chill the hell out. And then, so then he obviously knew I was not going to leave the power rack for a little bit. So he goes over to the Smith machine. Without even warming up, he just puts on 4 plates on both sides and barely even quarter squats. I'm talking about an 8th squat where he just breaks the hips and comes back up. And he's just staring at me the entire time. I'm like, bro, if you only knew like half the crap I knew, I've been doing jiu-jitsu for 6 years, I probably could like throw you over this.
Don't be giving me no funny looks, boy.
Well, then that's not the only time. Then another time, so I used to have this buddy I used to lift. I mean, I didn't lift with him, but he was also kind of like, into dumbbell or into like deadlifts, squats, and bench. And me and him were cool with each other. And next, I see him go get a drink of water, and then my arch nemesis is over at his squat rack taking all his weight off. And I see my friend, or I guess, if you want to call him my friend, gym buddy, whatever you want to call him, well, he got him in his face, and I was looking over like, I'm about to come over there too, dude. Like, you have to drag me out of my power rack. Because, I mean, like, how much of a douchebag do you have to be?
Oh, you got to be a pretty big douche. I mean, like, but that's like what goes back to what I said earlier about commercial gyms. What my issue is, and we can touch on this in a second, is one of my things that I don't understand about commercial gyms is why they don't have as many, like, power racks or, squat racks or, whatever you want to call them. I mean, like the racks where you have all of your core lifts at. I'm a dummy, so I'm not going to sit here and have all the technical terms, but I think you guys know what I'm talking about. But, like,
Big three.
Yeah, I mean, why commercial gyms don't have more of those? And, I mean, I can kind of answer that question myself because I know that a lot of people are kind of, your average person is kind of, I think, is a little more intimidated by that stuff just because you get the lunks that go in there that are like pseudo lunks. They're not even, I mean, they act like they're hot shit or they can lift a lot of weight, but it's just they can lift a lot of weight compared to the people that are there. I mean, like, I've talked to Hunter and said, like, I would love to see some of the people that go to like a commercial gym like Genesis that walk in like they're hot shit, go into somewhere like Omaha Barbell and then try to act like hot shit there. Like, you'd look foolish. And I mean, and that's coming from someone like, I'm not a power lifter. I'm not. I mean, I can lift a decent amount of weight, but I'm not the big man on campus as far as going in, and I don't do a lot of powerlifting myself. But at the same time, I recognize, don't go in somewhere and acting foolish, or like don't go in there and act like an idiot. Like, just respect the people around you, respect the space, realize that there are other people there than yourself who are trying to work out as well, and that's what bothers me. That's what bugs me about it all is just the ability to go into a commercial gym and use equipment that you should be able to use and that is beneficial, like the most beneficial for you to use, it's hard to access because people like that, people that don't care about anyone else around them, and they're just like, hey, I'm here to do this, so I don't care if you've already set up shop here, I'm moving in here, and then once I move in here, I'm going to take my sweet ass time doing what I'm going to do. And it just, as far as like, one of the things I don't miss from working at Genesis or a commercial gym, that's one of the things I do not miss. Because my situation right now, I was talking to these two fine gentlemen earlier about, is my wife, in her situation, luckily I'm able to go and utilize the local high school gym. And usually by the time I get off work, it's just me and myself and I there. And it's a super, yeah, Jake's over there, he's pissed. He's getting ready to flip his chair and walk out of here. But like that's... in all honesty, that's a huge blessing to me because I can go in there and I can do what I need to do. I can do the lifts that I want to do, and I'm not hampered by anyone else using that space.
I mean, that'd be so nice. But the only thing that scares me is that if you like fail a lift, that is very.
You have safety guards, but not most benches have those safety racks or the safety guard that can help you.
And that's
squats do. Deadlifts, you just drop the weight, but bench, I mean, if you get trapped, you're done. I mean, you got enough weight on your chest, I mean, that can kill you.
Well, and that's like one of the reasons, it's probably like one of the cons about working out there is when I'm there by myself after work, there's times I want to try to like max out and see what I really can lift, but I'm not going to be that person that's going to take that risk and then end up stuck in there by myself with, weight on my chest that I can't do anything with. I mean, for the most part, when I set the rack up, I'll set up the sidebars to where if that were to happen, I could kind of rotate the weight over, the bar over, so at least it'd be resting on one of them bars versus just all sitting on me. But at the same time, it's just not a risk. Like that's why I don't know about you guys, but here since I've gotten down here and I've started working out at that gym, the high school gym there, I've been doing more dumbbell stuff versus barbell stuff. I mean, and I'll still, like here recently I've gotten more back into the swing of squat and deadlift and stuff like that. But initially I was just doing a lot of dumbbell stuff because it's just stuff that I had heard, whether it was accurate or not. But yeah, I'd heard it helps isolate, whatever your muscle you're working on a little bit better. Hunter's over here. He's got a look on his face. I don't know if it's just he's just vibing or if he's...
I'm just listening.
But I feel like dumbbell has been extremely beneficial to me, though, too. And it's a good feeling like I've been able to see the progress there. And so that's kind of the route that I've taken. I don't know about you guys. I mean, what do you guys prefer? Do you guys like barbell? Do you like dumbbell? Do you do a little bit of both? I know, Jake, you probably do like more.
I do more barbell. But that's just me personally. I mean, I love dumbbell. If I could, I mean, if my program allowed it, I would. But I'm doing so much volume on barbell lifts. It's just hard. I mean, I'll do dumbbell rows, or that's about it. But
so I got a question for you, Jake. Since you do a little more powerlifting, how many calories do you eat in a day? Because this is something that came up on me. I did a little looking in on yesterday, or not yesterday. I misspoke there. A couple weeks ago, I was looking up to see like how much calories I'd have to eat, and it was like on Men's Health, which Men's Health is their hit and miss. But I was reading if I was going to gain like a pound of muscle a week, I'd have to eat almost 5,000 calories a week. Yeah, Jake's over there raising his eyebrow with this, like, what the hell look, and I was kind of thinking the same thing when I read that. I was like, that's a lot of calories. I mean, just for context for anyone listening, I'm about 6'5", I'm weighing about 240 right now, pretty slim. I'm not buff or nothing like that, but, I've got an athletic physique, and I just feel like 5,000 calories is a lot, so I wanted to ask you guys. I mean, I asked that to my wife because my wife is she's pretty health savvy, and like she's been one of the big reasons I've been able to get in the shape that I've been able to get into. Yeah. But I just she thought that was a lot, and I thought that was a lot too. And so I wanted to pose that to you both as well, since you guys are a little more fitness minded than I am.
I mean, I try to just aim for a gram of protein per how much muscle or how much.
I mean, the closer you can get to a gram per pound.
Yeah, that's the best.
I mean, the closer. Now, the minimum is you want to do half your body weight per gram of protein, but. Yeah, the closer you get to, it's like what I tell everyone I talk to is like it's like Legos. If you give your body if I give you like 2 Legos, was like, build me something, what would you say? You'd be like, I'll put them on top of each other. And you're like, okay. If it could be like a whole set, you could build me whatever.
I mean, you shouldn't. The thing
But,
is, so many people focus just on protein. Like, that's not, I mean, protein does help repair the muscle. I mean, carbs do it good.
Oh, yeah.
Carbs is great, and also you got, I mean, I focus on macros. I don't focus on calories too much.
Same.
Yeah,
But I mean, most people struggle with protein. That's why I hit protein
Yeah.
harder.
Yeah, because
most
easy. I mean,
people,
it's easy to eat a
yeah.
bowl of spaghetti. It's easy to eat a stack of
Bowl of ice
pancakes.
cream.
But it's hard to eat, drink protein shakes, eat protein bars, eat chicken, eat the dull food. I mean, everybody wants to crave that ice cream, the pancakes.
My chicken ain't
waffles.
dull. Don't be big.
I'm just saying, people, there's a lot, I mean, it's hard, but you shouldn't just eat the same food. Like, if you're eating chicken, rice, and broccoli, you're just beating yourself in the ground.
I mean, I did that before.
I mean, I've done it too, but
I'm a simple guy though, so like I can do that. I feel like you should like again. That's where like everyone's gonna be different. So like Jake could like sit here and I'll never change his mind about I'll just eat chicken and broccoli and rice
I've
all
done
day.
it too. Yeah, I mean,
And I mean you can do it, and like that's where it comes to. If you're not someone who's gonna enjoy that, then don't do it. Do like a different style, like where you're always adding spice of whatever. You're doing this protein this day, this protein that day, this protein that day. Don't beat yourself in the ground. If you're a simpleton like me, just eat whatever's easiest for you that's still going to get you the benefits and just roll with it.
I mean, when I was cut in for jiu-jitsu and I was like trying to get down to like 185, I was eating one meal a day, and it was just chicken and spinach. That was it. I mean,
How big of portions? Just for the people listening, like how big of portions were you eating?
It was like
1
gram of spinach. I mean, it was like at least good. I mean, the big boxes you get at Hy-Vee. I think it was about maybe a fourth of that, and then maybe like just a chicken breast, and that was it. I mean, I was miserable as hell, but I was down to 185. I mean, it's so hard for me to get down to 185 because Coach wanted me at 185. I was just like, all right.
So those real Ugandan hours.
I was like struggling, though, man.
Well, that'd be tough. Like that's one thing that's a hard thing to do. Is
I
to
would like eat. I want to eat all day. I'll get home from work, eat that spinach and chicken, and then go right to jiu-jitsu, and that was it. And that's all I did. I was just
looking like the most dangerous meth head out here, just all boned down. Just, what's up,
I was so miserable, and I was like, the problem is, like, I knew my body was just not taking it well because it was always beat down. I was always sore because I wasn't getting the protein in. I wasn't getting the good carbs in, no good fat. I was just literally broken down, and like my ankles, my knees were popping during jiu-jitsu. I was just like, dude, I'm so done. And then like the day before the competition, my knee popped, and my coach sat there like, oh crap.
He's like, you're not good.
You're not good. I'm like, man, I'm done. And I was skinnier than when we were in Cholo Springs. I was skinnier than that.
oh dang!
Jeez.
I think I might because what year would it have been that you'd have been that skinny?
It was before I started dating my wife, so
16 or
2016, I think.
So weren't we hanging out? Like I thought we were, because me and you kind of. There was high school. We were hanging out through football, and then after high school, I know like there was a little bit of time there where we weren't. Like
I was in college.
you were doing your thing in college. I was here, and so we weren't really keeping up to snuff. And then when was it? Was that 16? I felt like it had to be 16 or 17 that we.
I came after I got done with college in Lincoln. I came back to Omaha about 2014, and then I had my falling with my ex-girlfriend, and then I think that's when I met you guys at Old Chicago when I was working there.
That's right.
And then I saw you guys, and I think that's when we started hitting up again. And then I think we went to Cholo Springs in Arizona, 2000.
I'm gonna find out. I'm gonna
Well,
go.
I mean, it was more so you and Deacon with the old Chicago and that.
Yeah, you weren't there.
And
You were with
Yeah.
the other guys, and then I just joined part of that group, and then
Let's see here. Let's go back to the old memory banks here. I think
After your
I swear it was 2006 because that's when
how
it
did
had to have been
that
16 because
101?
17 is when we went to. 17 is when we had the Cholo Springs, the flourishing of Cholo Springs, and that's a story for another time. That's quite eventful. The Cholo Springs, Arizona trip of 2016.
That was a great trip. I mean, that was all around just great.
Oh yeah. I would love to do something like that again, minus the wrong turns and the long car ride. But
I think we were in that car more than we were actually on our feet. I believe.
I think so
Dude,
too.
it was so horrible being like a passenger.
It was great being a driver though.
Except for that one, the only thing I got really scared about was not the wrong turn. It was when you literally were like, "No, we're good. We're good."
Oh yeah, that was.
And you were sitting there, you were sweating. I'm like, dude, we're not good at that. We're on the red line. There was no numbers on the gas mileage. I was like,
Oh, it went from
screwed.
it went from counting to it tell when a vehicle if you got newer vehicles and they'll tell you you're getting like 50 miles or less. You got 50 miles or less till empty. It like the digital dash on that Charger went from you got like it was 30 miles and then it went to fuel low. But we'll save that one for another time. We're going back on the old the fitness stuff, the gym stuff. So, let's see here. What's another good little tidbit to talk about in that regard? So we talked about commercial gyms and the pros and cons of that, and some of the bubbleheads that you run into. I know one of my experiences with some of the idiots there is when I was working out at the Genesis. At the time, I don't know if it was Genesis or if it was still 24 Hour, but it was all out by, if you are familiar with the Omaha area, it's out by Westroads, where that's at. And I mean, I know you two are, but in case anyone else is listening wants to know, there was a guy there. I'd go and work out in the mornings, and he was a younger dude, and he'd show up and he would do hang cleans, but then he would if I say hang clean, you guys. Does that include the overhead motion when you're lifting overhead? What would you consider that lift when you hang clean and then you snatch? So he was snatching. I mean, he was snatching good weight. I'm pretty sure it was like 225 or something like that. So it was a respectable weight. But he would go and he'd sit there for like 5 minutes and he'd hype himself up. He'd just sit there and he'd be like squatted down. And I was probably a good 25 yards away from him in the gym, and I was doing my own thing, and I could hear him hyping himself up. And he'd sit there and he'd crouch down by the bar and he'd roll his hands around the bar and he'd be kind of like bouncing in his squat. And then he'd finally do the lift and he'd do one rep after 5 minutes of build up, and then he would drop that 225 from over his head all the way to the ground, and it would make like the loudest noise in the whole gym. And you're just sitting there like, I mean, one time is like I can totally understand and not be bothered if you just do it once. Like if you're maxing out and you're just trying to get that weight up and you get it and you're like, yes, I got it, boom, done, fine. This dude proceeded to do what he did there like 3 or 4 times consecutively. Like the whole 5 minutes, the one lift, and then drop. And it was like, dude, what are you doing? What are you doing with your life right now? I was genuinely curious to know what the benefit of that, what you're really doing. I mean, because from what I understand, if you're maxing out, you max out and then you're done on that lift. Like you're not sitting there and you're doing it 5 or 10 times after the fact. You're just one and done. But that's just me. But that's probably as far as most annoying thing that I've run into, that's probably the most annoying thing that I have run into at a gym. Other than things we've already mentioned. That would be it.
Yeah.
So what's the benefits of a private gym then?
I mean, you have the possibility of 24 access still. So 24-hour access. You're surrounded by people who will push you a little bit harder.
Yeah.
You're surrounded by more knowledge. So even if you don't know what you're doing, most of these people, even though they look like, they eat babies for a living, like, they will be able to help you out and actually some of the nicest dudes you'll talk to. Like, seriously.
No, it's true, though. I mean,
like, some of these guys look like hardened criminals.
Who are literally injecting steroids by the milligram.
Yeah, they literally are just eating babies by the dozens. But they're not, and they're just the nicest, like, salt of the earth. Like, they're super nice, and they'll watch out for you as long as you watch out for them, and as long as you're not some dweeb who just like talk to them all the time and like doesn't seem to acknowledge like, hey, if they're like in the middle of a rep, you don't just go up there and be like, hey. Like, they're just super common sense based, nice people. And of course, you're always gonna have like the few that are like, in their own egos, but that's everywhere.
Yeah.
So
I mean, the other thing about local gyms is that you have a spotter at all times. Like, everybody's always willing to spot you, and they do it correctly.
yeah,
They're not there to like literally guide the barbell off your chest the entire time. Like, they will let you push it, and if
Yeah.
you can't get it up, then they'll help you. I mean, that's the one thing I like about those places, that they don't.
It just circles back to the knowledge.
Yeah, I mean, they know when you're not going to be able to get it.
Well, I don't-
Everybody has a sticking point. When you max out a squat, you have that sticking point. It's right when you come out of the hole. There's that little tiny sticking point, and if you don't get it through, man, it's done for.
Well, and I know, like, when we were in high school in lifting, that's one thing that bothered. I'm pretty sure it was not just you, but you, me, and I think a lot of other people was, and you have someone spot, and you'd be struggling, and before you were even, like,
Able to get it.
before you were able to even get a chance at finishing that rep, even though you were struggling, someone would just pick it up and take it out, take that weight off you, essentially.
High school lifting's a joke.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the program we had at high school football was just a bad program.
I definitely think there were, like, for me at least, there were some things that were good about it and that worked, and then there were some things that, looking back on it, you definitely wish that it would have been more refined or you would have known more about, because then you wouldn't have made some of the same mistakes.
I mean, the biggest one that I think they should emphasize on is technique on squat and deadlift. I mean, they can't just have you max out on a deadlift when you don't understand the technique of deadlift, and that's how you get injured. When you max out on something and you don't understand it.
No, I definitely would agree with that.
And I the only thing I did like about high school lifting is because I had you. It was you, me, and Marcus who were all lifting partners.
Mm-hmm. The trio.
That was a great lifting partner because I remember when Marcus asked me, he was like he was about to max out a squat. And he told me to punch his back. I was like, he's like, "Bro, you gotta punch me in the back."
I remember that too. I remember that.
Why
I
do
remember when he
you?
had his toes painted by his freaking GF.
Oh,
I remember. Yeah.
I was just like, why do you want me to punch you in the back? I will slap your back. I'm not gonna sit there and punch your back.
I remember riding in the back seat when we were going to a movie once in that dude's car, and I was like,
Oh, when he had the manual.
yeah, the man,
Oh,
that thing would just rock back and forth whenever
And
you tried to
rattle.
shift,
Oh
and
my
like,
God, that
yeah,
gave me
the
the
music
worst.
turned up
This-
all the way.
Can finish your story, but I have something since we're on this topic, there's something I do want to bring up. So please continue.
But before you bring up whatever you're going to bring up, what were the good things about that treacherous?
The commercial gym, or like,
No. The high school. You said there's. Some
oh,
good
so the good
about
things
it.
about it was like, being someone who wasn't doing a lot of lifting or any kind of, sports or physical activities before I started in high school football, it was nice to have some kind of a structure and some kind of a, just something other than nothing. I mean, I guess that's really it. And I mean, even though there are things about the football program we were in and our head coach that, looking back on, and even at that time I didn't necessarily agree with, at the end of the day, I look back on it and I'm still very grateful that I had that opportunity, not only just to improve myself in my situation, but I also got to meet some really good people in that experience. And, he was the one who asked, he approached me and asked me if I want to be a part of that program. And so while there's things about that experience that still aren't, it's not like it's all happy-go-lucky, there's still a lot of good that came from it too. And so, I mean, I can completely level and understand with other people who were in that program with us and their opinions, and they have like the same opinions for the most part. I can totally level with that, and I get a good laugh out of it because it's just funny to hear a lot of people that I know say the same thing essentially. But at the same time, like, there's part of me that is grateful for the experience, because if I hadn't had that experience, I probably wouldn't be the same person I am today. So in that regard, I am grateful.
But okay, back on the fitness though, because
Wait,
that was
before we get into that, I mean, he did teach us a lot of discipline. I mean, with
Yeah.
that program, we had a lot of structure and discipline, and
Yeah.
I think that carries on to life. I mean, because you get a job, if you don't have that discipline, you're gonna get fired. And I feel like every single job I've ever attacked, I mean, I've always attacked it with like full intention. I guess I get what you mean.
Yeah, and I mean, like, as far as the lifting goes, I mean, our assistant coach, the program he set up, as far as, like, your reps and your weight, I wish I remembered the weight to reps ratio a little bit better, but it's given me something ever since then to baseline my own workouts off of. Not completely, because I've also expanded beyond that with other workouts that not only that Hunter has shown me, or that Jake, you've shown me some stuff, as far as, like, that one, the powerlifting stuff you were doing there for a little while, and you sent me that chart, So something like that, and then what my wife has shown me, I've been able to kind of combine things and kind of find things that, not necessarily refine them, but just combine them in a way that works best for what I've been doing. And I mean, I'm not trying to be like, I'm not trying to tell anyone else that's listening, like, just do your own thing and don't listen to anyone else and any of that. Like, they're definitely, you have to do things that make you uncomfortable or things that challenge you. But at the same time, what pretty much what you guys have been saying, and when we talk about this before, some things work for everybody, but you can't have like one solid program that's going to work, exactly the same for everybody, just because everybody's physical makeup and, everyone's different, in that same regard. I mean, like I said, some things you can do the same and it work, but some things you have to tweak a little bit, is all I'm trying to say. Like, you don't reinvent the wheel, but you tweak them.
Yeah, because everybody doesn't have the same tolerance, or, I mean, somebody who maybe could be able to lift the whole entire program to somebody else, that might be too much. And then, because you want them to come back every single day. You want them to be able to come to the gym at least 4 to 5 times a week. And if you push them way too much on day one, I mean, they're going to be too sore to finish out. I'd rather do a weekly volume max than just a daily volume max. That's why I never got into the bodybuilding thing, where it's like you do hit legs one day, you hit chest and triceps the next day, you hit biceps and back the next day, because you're just getting a pump. I rather focus on a weekly volume where you hit a certain number each week.
So this is what I wanted to bring up. Like, this is probably going to be a segment of our podcast all throughout, and I want it to be part of our podcast because this is a opportunity for us to kind of to look at feedback that we get on our social media, and then take an opportunity to address that and either make sense of it and maybe agree with it, or we can just call it for bullshit, whatever it's going to be. And so this is one of the things that one of our someone on our social media accounts posted a while back, and I just wanted to touch on this on our podcast for conversation purpose. So, and it is regarding on our topic of fitness, so, and weightlifting and gyms and such.
Well, hold
so,
on.
so
Just get on that high school thing though.
Get you all right.
Because yes, the taught discipline and such, and and plyometrics were amazing, and the cardio was good, but at the same time, plyometrics and cardio, all you gotta do is you just gotta keep that heart rate pumping, which is really easy if you have 10 coaches. Keep it PG. If you have 10 coaches, you have 10 guys who have free time. Half of them are probably just doing things on their free time.
They're wanking.
They're not wanking. They're just sitting with
One
their
JV coach who was never mind.
You got some Chris Hansen vibes going on?
No, he was part of the party bus thing, remember?
But
Anyways,
they're just being waste of space. But
what they coach from JV?
Yeah, I think, yeah.
But what their lifting did is like absolute ass. Like absolute trash, and set up people. I'm speaking from experience too, because when I went to college, it was an absolute relearning experience. What is high school supposed to be for? Why does Texas have what they have? It's because they don't train people for just that semester or that year. They train them for the future. So sure, he gave us discipline, but what else did he fucking give me? Nothing. I had to relearn everything. So all of that relearning takes away from that discipline, because I still learn the discipline through wrestling and through other things.
Obviously.
So he can eat up. No, I can't go that way. But
I
all I'm saying is that he did me more disservices, and I know he did more other people disservices than he did services, and I can't just sit there and like let that just go. And that's what the issue with Midwest football why we can't compete with Texas, because none of the coaches around here take it serious and actually do some research and get someone who knows what they're talking about in their fitness programs. They're all just sitting there copying, pasting bullshit and saying it's going to work. It's not going to work, but what do I know?
Well, and just for context for anyone listening, I mean, Hunter here has had probably the most experience out of the three of us here in the football realm, and along with his what he's doing work-wise with his training stuff. So, I mean, while his opinions are very sharp on things, he also is knowledgeable on what he speaks to. But so coming back to what I want to say about this person of interest on our social medias and the interesting things they say, I find this would make for a very entertaining conversation on our first inaugural podcast here, and especially on the topic of fitness. And with not only Hunter's opinions, his sharp opinions, and his concrete opinions on things, but I think Jake will probably want to touch on this too, because this is just one of those things where it's easy to form an opinion and have a very interesting reaction. So here we go. So I'm going to read this post here that we got, and it goes along the lines of, I recommend doing workouts that don't overdo what your current strength is. Jake has taken off his headset. Lifting hundreds of pounds over your head just to drop it straight down has more to do with testosterone high than it does your, in quotations, muscle growth. And then it says, in conclusion, feel strong in your muscles, not beat my body to shit until I'm tired and hurt. So I'm just going to leave that there. I'm going to drop that there, and I'll let you guys take it. Now I want to hear your guys' opinions on that statement.
Soy boy. That's my opinion.
Beta man.
Absolute soy.
Oh my god.
Lifting heavy actually does boost your testosterone.
Yeah.
So maybe he should learn that so he's not such a beta male cuck. But I doubt that'll ever happen.
Oh my gosh.
How about you, Jake? What's your take on this? I mean,
maybe he can ask his girlfriend's boyfriend to give him some me time or some switch time. And maybe he can stop posting on social media, because Lord knows that would help us all.
I mean, there's a lot of, I don't know. I just feel like whatever you want to do in the gym is up to your own prerogative, but don't, I mean, if I want to lift 400 pounds over my back, let me do it. I mean, if you don't want to do it, that's fine with you, but like, I'm not ego lifting. I'm literally pushing myself, because I can't push myself with 135. I can't push myself with 225. I can't push myself with 315. I have to keep up.
Not all of us are SpongeBob. We're not lifting with teddy bears on our barbell.
I know.
Well, and in context too of this person this quote we're taking from them, they have no knowledge of the gym fitness game whatsoever. I mean, I would say if they do have knowledge, it's a very limited. It's a very small window, and I mean, we're talking porthole on a submarine small, which if you know submarines, there ain't no portholes on no submarine. So he's very much speaking out of his wheelhouse in this regard, and so I just figured it'd be kind of fun a fun comment to bring up and discuss.
Is, like when you beat your body to what do you say, shit?
Yeah,
crap.
When you beat your body to shit.
Like, some people need that relief. Like,
yeah.
My job is stressful. I mean, I'm dealing with a bunch of people all day. Like, I need to exert my body either through jiu-jitsu, or I mean, I'm getting beat up all day, or through lifting where I'm beating myself up. But I mean, I need that relief. I can't just sit around and not do something. I gotta become a pent up bowling ball of freaking anger.
No, we get it, Jake. You like that self-punishment.
I do love that self-punishment. German style.
Nine. But no. He's just, Jake said it better. But what I said is still a fact.
I mean, a lot of people need that. I mean, that's the thing. It's like, I mean, whatever you want to do in the gym, it's up to your own prerogative. I mean, you want to do things in the gym correctly, but if you want to do yoga in the gym, that's up to you. If you want to do band squats, that's up to you. If you want to do dumbbell squats, that's up to you. If you want to do barbell squats, that's up to you. But don't, I don't know, I just feel like he's just trashing on something he has no knowledge of. And it's like, I'm sorry, but I have to do it. I can't live my life without doing it.
Well, I think for sure he's definitely speaking out of his wheelhouse. And it's, to me, it goes back to what we were talking about earlier about people that when you go to a gym and you have people that are more dedicated or their goals in life are to be, either bodybuilders or powerlifters, and they show up to a commercial gym or your general commercial gym, and they show up and they're lifting heavy weights around people that are just there to kind of go through the motions or just try to stay in somewhat of shape. It's intimidating, and I think that's when you get opinions like that and posts like that where people are just and there are some I'm trying to level on the situation because you have some guys that are meatheads that go in there and they're acting obnoxious and they're grunting and but for the most part, if you have people in there that are well mannered, I still think that if you have someone in there who's lifting heavy, I think it's almost a natural reaction if you're not someone who's geared with that mindset and not someone who's geared in that fitness mindset, that you have like a little bit of an intimidation factor because you're like, that dude's lifting a lot of weight. Like, and just the thought of lifting that weight is, to some people, I think, is overwhelming because they're like, well, I'm over here struggling with this 135. How is this guy over here doing?
But it's all relative. I mean, everybody has to start somewhere. I didn't start out, doing like 405 or whatever. I had to start out. I mean, you saw me in high school. I was barely squatting 225. I mean, it's all relative. Whether you're squatting 800 pounds or squatting 95 pounds, it's all relative. I mean, maybe your 95 pounds is heavy, but this guy's who's 815, he's been doing it for 10 years. That's heavy as well for him.
Exactly.
And he didn't start squatting for 815 pounds. He started when he was probably doing 135, maybe 225 or 95 pounds. I mean, there's a lot of people out there that, you see that end goal. You don't see the struggle that he had to get to that point. You just see that end part.
Agreed. And I'd agree with that 110%. And I think that's what people, they lose that in translation when they see people at the gym that are in shape or like in, all muscled up or they're lifting heavy weights, as they just think meathead or like, oh, they steroided up. I mean, some people do. I mean, and you can usually kind of pick those people out. I mean, that's kind of a common sense or it's pretty obvious. But then even some of them, like what you said, that's their thing. Like, that's what they've worked towards for who knows how long. And
if you stick with it, you probably could be up to that standard too. I mean, it's just, you can't be intimidated. And the thing is as long as there's, most people who are lifting that heavy are literally to themselves. They're not grunting, they're not screaming, they're not looking for attention. They literally just want to go in there, get their stuff done like you do, and then leave. Most people, there are some who like to grunt and scream and be an obnoxious asshole. There are some people who just want to get in there, lift their weight, and then leave, just like you do. I mean, if you are literally doing 95 pounds in a squat and you're getting to depth and you have correct form and you are doing good, I don't get mad at you. I get mad at the quarter squatters. If you are hitting full range of motion on everything, you are pushing yourself, that's it. Like, you are, in my book, you're doing better than the guy who's doing 225 quarter squat. That's how it is.
Yeah, no, that makes sense to me. I mean, I kind of see it the same way. I mean, it's like when you see people with terrible form doing high weight, and you're like, what are you doing?
Weight and drop the weight, learn the technique, and if you learn the technique correctly, your weight will increase faster than if you were doing bad technique with more weight. So,
what do you think, Hunter? You're kind of quiet over there.
That's all. You guys are all speaking truth. There ain't much to add. I mean, the only thing is quarter squatting. There is actually quarter squatting for actual benefits. And then there's quarter squatting for actually not knowing how to squat.
Now that's a question.
But that's the thing is most people who probably see quarter squatting are quarter squatting because they don't know what they're doing.
But
quarter
what are the
squatting,
benefits? I'm just curious about that.
It hits the quads.
Does it?
Hits the glutes a little bit. So it's good for athletes who need to jump, run, sprint. It's good for those track, basketball, fast twitch.
Okay.
It's not, for just anyone, or if you're a wide receiver or whatever, I don't know, whatever, if you need a jump, whatever.
What, how do you define a quarter squat? Is it
It's literally, so you're going down, you're in that midway between 90 and standing upright.
Okay.
And then there's two ways you can do this. You can do it where you're just going down to about that 90 or so, right about here, so you go pop. Or you can, get the full range. You come back up to that, and and you just stay down there.
No, that.
So there's two ways of doing it. There's the beginner way, and then there's the advanced way.
I like the advanced way.
So I mean, again, there's.
See, the reason why I hit the hole is, the reason why I go 90 degrees or lower is because you get that that twitch. You know what I'm talking about. When you hit that hole, everything tenses up, and then that gives you that spring back up.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I like hitting the hole. I mean, if it works for some people.
Yeah, like I said, probably most people.
99% of people probably would not help.
No.
Get full range of motion. It builds your muscle better.
Yeah.
And with anything, lat pull downs, rows, bench press, shoulder press. If you do full range of motion, you can build muscle more than just doing quarter squats or quarter reps.
But I mean, I'd say getting a little bit of both. I mean, don't just. Again, when I do quarter squats, I've already done like squats before that, and I've done like 2 kinds of squats or something like. So quarter squats aren't my main go-to. It's like an add-on after I've done the stuff that I know is like you want to make sure you hit.
Have you seen the pendulum squat machine?
Pendulum.
It's like a hack. It's like a hack squat, but you use like a pendulum motion. It is the craziest.
I think I've seen it, but I haven't seen it.
It's hard. People say it's really hard. I love hack squats too. That's another thing. If you don't feel comfortable underneath the barbell, do hack squats.
Oh yeah, hack squats are great.
Do hack squats before you do leg press.
Yeah.
I think hack squats are better than leg press any day.
I think it's more beneficial. At least, I mean, I don't know nothing, but I felt like to me, I was getting more out of that than I was leg pressing.
Yeah, leg press will get you somewhere, but I think hack squats. I mean, you get the idea what it feels like to have weight on your back. I mean, not as much as a barbell will, but I mean, it's more than just sitting down and doing leg press.
If the hack squat has the bar on your back,
Yeah.
I mean, if it doesn't, then it's pretty much the same thing as a leg press.
I hate leg pressers because they like stack on 6 plates and like.
Oh yeah, those ones, where you're laying like facing upwards, yeah.
It's like they sit there like, yeah, I could leg press 6.
I can leg press
Can you squat 315?
Nah.
Just ask it. Oh, it's bad for my back. No, it isn't. It's actually strengthens your back.
It's bad for that vagina between your legs.
That's right on a day, though. Now, what's your opinion on high or lower bar squat?
Unless you don't care whether you do high or low, just make sure you're squatting right.
Now, what were you two talking about before we got started?
I don't know.
There was a slight disagreement going on. There was a little bit of a.
Of what?
I can't.
Generally can't remember.
You've been hitting the.
I had 1 cup in a root beer.
Yeah, that cup was like all Red Stag, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Red Stag.
Coke.
No,
Yeah, a little splash of Woke Zero.
I'll tell you if I drink a lot because I'll act different.
Oh, trust me, we know. But no, I thought you guys were talking about, what was it? I thought it was like a lift. I can't remember if it was like deadlift or if it was.
Head press?
We were talking about you like to do overhead press over chest.
I mean, I would hit.
Press.
Like, don't get me wrong. I still hit bench, but I just like overhead press. I don't know.
Well, no, and that's okay. You can like.
Oh,
You
certainly.
can like
I mean,
whatever.
it's not like I hit just overhead press.
All right. Yeah. No.
I still hit bench,
Yeah.
but I like overhead
Because
press.
you know there's a meaning behind it.
I know there's a meaning behind it. Don't. Okay, now what about the back arch when it comes to benching? Do you like when people arch their back or not? Because there's a big controversy on that.
See, like, I don't go to the extremes where you look like a McDonald's arch. I don't go to the extreme where you're like trying to recreate the rainbow, especially for all these people that are never going to step realm into a powerlifting competition.
But do you think foot drive is a good part of
It helps.
Yeah.
I mean, it helps. Yeah.
'Cause when I see people bench and they have the happy feet,
They have their feet up or they're doing happy feet. Yeah,
it's
they're
just like just put if you actually plant your
Drive
feet
them
into the ground and
motherfuckers
you
into the ground.
plant
Yep.
and you drive with your legs, you can lift so much more weight.
Nope, not them.
No.
They'd rather dance around.
Oh, I have to tell you a story. So I was benching, and this guy, so he comes in with his girlfriend. This girlfriend looks like, it looks like beer bottle over here, just a stick figure. She looked uncomfortable.
I thought you meant
Arms
like-
crossed at the top of that. Arms crossed, just looks uncomfortable. Doesn't know what the hell what she's doing. Doesn't want to be there. Her boyfriend's in all enraged. You can see him just storming in like. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this should be fun. So he picks the bench next to me. I'm like, all right, I gotta watch this. So he's like, babe, I can do 225, and I know I can do 225. I'm like, all right, let's do this. Because he looks exactly like the beer bottle. So just skinny, lengthy. And I'm over here like, okay, this should be fun. So he puts on no warm up. Literally he looks like he just came from the car, like jeans on, shirt on, comes in. He gets 135 up, no warm up, just starts benching 135. I'm like, all right. I mean, you know what I mean? Like warm up, like stretching a little bit. At least getting something, like the bar or something. Yeah. Just puts on 135, starts benching that. And he just puts on 2 plates. He's like, he puts on 2 plates. Then he has his stick figure of a freaking girlfriend spot him. Like, if this thing falls on you, dude, you're so screwed. So I'm over here watching this. I'm just sitting on my bench. You know, I'm not watching him. Like,
you just kind of like check it in every once in a while.
And I'm just over here like, oh my gosh, this is going to end well. So he gets it down. He gets it about maybe an inch off his chest, and it falls on him. He's like, and they both are struggling to get it up, and they put it out. And he's like, oh man, I swear I can do 225. I've done it before. This is bull poop. I don't want to do this no more. I'm going to get this thing. I'm like, oh my gosh. You seriously going to try this again?
He's about to fight the bench.
So then he tries it again. He does it. He gets an inch off his chest. She's like struggling again to get it off. He's like, no. And then he puts on 275. I'm like, you have not even done 225. Now you put on 275. Well, he goes down. Couldn't get off his chest. And his girlfriend was struggling. So I literally was like, so I racked the weight, walk over like a grown ass dad, and I was like, come over here, and I literally deadlifted it. And then I just picked up, unracked my weight, and I just left. I just pulled the ultimate dad move, where I literally he was like some 18-year-old kid. I'm like,
yeah, them kids, they just.
I mean, he was so pissed he didn't get 225 up. Then he decided to put 275 on.
Let evolution take its result, just don't win the Darwin Award.
And she was struggling. I mean, when I say stick figure, I'm saying stick figure. I'm not saying like she had a little meat on her bone. I'm talking like she looked like
anorexia.
Yeah, and I'm like, you expect her to get 275 up?
Good luck with that one, Chief.
Oh my gosh! And I was over here like benching 225. It wasn't a heavy bench day. It was like I did deadlifts, I did squats. It was just like a kind of get your bench volume in. So I was only doing 225, and I was repping it. I don't know why he didn't just ask me. Dude, I'm obviously repping the thing that you're trying to max out.
Yeah. Well, that's one thing too, like going to commercial gyms, you get people that just kind of randomly show, like they're working out, and like some people will ask you, like, hey, can you spot me for a minute? And you're like, yeah, sure, no problem. And then some people, they just go for it. They're just like that guy.
I spotted multiple people, and I let them fight it. But yeah, this guy literally barely just couldn't get off his chest. I'm like, you didn't get 225 up. What did you expect to do 275? I mean, that's most people's max squat rate. I mean, that's a lot of people's max squat. You expect that to get that up?
Yeah, it's not too wise. So while we're talking about gyms, is there anything else or any fitness related things you guys want to touch on?
Eat your vegetables.
Eat your vegetables.
Eat your goddamn vegetables.
Eat your vegetables. Don't you be slacking. Hunter,
spinach.
anything you wanna touch on it?
Nope, I'm good for today.
Yeah, you're all fitnessed out.
There ain't nothing much.
Done fitting in that pizza in your mouth.
Bro, you too.
Yeah, I know that pizza is good too. Better believe it. Well, if you had any kind of wonders or any kind of thoughts on commercial gyms versus non-commercial or anything in between, hopefully we've been able to answer some of your curiosities.
Probably not.
Probably not.
Yeah,
We're probably gonna.
No, you're probably like, what?
Like, what did
You
he
probably just went through like a hell, like
You're just like, all this for nothing.
Yeah,
I
pretty
went
much.
through how
I
many hours?
stayed and listened to this for how long, and I got no payoff. This is a bunch of BS. I ain't never listen to these boys again. To the one viewer that will be listening to this.
This probably want to be your mom or something.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, hi, Mom.
You guys did great. You guys did great. I love the first one.
But yeah, so this has been our first podcast. Like I said, talking about fitness, and the next time around, who knows what we'll talk about? We're probably going to touch on a lot of different topics in the course of this podcast run. We're going to try to do it fairly regularly.
Leave a comment for recommendations.
Yeah. Hey, we'll take throw something out there. We love to.
What do you want us to ramble about?
Yeah.
Time
We
to
love.
watch you boys.
Are traps gay?
That's a topic. That's a podcast in itself, right there, bro. You might have to host that one.
Are you a man of culture? Find out next time.
Oh my god.
So this has been Boolin with the boys,
Let's see, there you
the
go.
fitness edition.
Didn't say it all correct. You were bowling with the boys.
Boolin with the boys.
Are we bowling? Try to get a perfect 300?
See, I was trying to get I want to get that audio mix of. You remember that show back in the day, Hunter, and remember, I don't know if you would, Jake. But that show, that Yu-Gi-Oh show, where it's like, it's time to do. We need to do this. It's time to at the beginning of this podcast. That's what this podcast needs.
Yeah.
But this is, like I said, we appreciate you listening in, and hopefully you stick around. And like I said, give us your suggestions, comments, likes, money, subscribes. It's all good. And
money.
We'll take whatever.
well, I mean, hey, it's all.
Some Bitcoin our way.
Yeah, Bitcoin, Dogecoin.
Oh my gosh. Let's not get into those stocks. Like.
And
Keep them diamond hands. Diamond
Wall
hands.
Street bets.
Yeah.
Game stones.
so from the underground bunker here in the middle of Nebraska, this is the Boolin with the Boys, signing out.